going on, everybody? It's another Sunday in the books, and you know what that means. The Series X podcast is live at about 6 p.m. We're close to being absolutely on time. Shout out to Master Clown X3. He's already getting into the super chat. He said, "Am I late?" Yo, Clown, you are not late. And again, he is our newest member to this channel. Shout out to Master Clown. But guys, I am excited for tonight's show. We got a lot of things to talk about, and of course, the Xbox gamers. This is the show that is for you. This is Xbox news, Xbox topics, Xbox entertainment, all for you guys. And of course, no talking about any other platforms, even in comparisons. And yes, guys, even in the chat, we're gonna have a show here that is just Xbox. No console war BS, no other platforms, and I ask you guys in the chat to keep it like that as well. You guys have been doing a great job so far, and I believe moving forward, this show can really show people that a show can grow without the drama, without all that BS that is going on nowadays. And we can talk, we can celebrate, and we can criticize Xbox when they need all that stuff. And after saying that, I do have to welcome in my partner in crime when it comes to this show, this social experiment of ours, my brother Jamie Moran, aka the Elusive Gamer. What's going on, bro?
All right, dude, everything's all good. Just getting on with stuff and proving that we can actually stay on topic yet again.
Oh, dude, we're those people who doubted us, man. We're already, this is the third episode in. We are on a roll right now, Jamie. Dude, it's been an interesting week. A lot of things to talk about. Some on the bigger side, of course, some on the smaller side. And before we get into that, hold on, Master Clown, one more time hitting up that super chat. He says, "I try to be civil. I'm a huggy bear clown." Brother, beautiful. Absolutely love that. And again, thank you for the support. Jamie, I think we're going to get right into it because last week I tried to bring up, the two new games that were in Xbox Game Pass, Wasteland 3 and Tell Me Why. And unfortunately, at that point in time, you were having problems with electricity, stuff like that. You didn't get a chance to play those games. And I was really looking forward to getting your take on those. So, have you had a chance to play both of these games, one or the other? Where are you in terms of getting some experience in on Tell Me Why and Wasteland 3?
Well, I've finally got to play both and really enjoying them. I've finished episode 1 of Tell Me Why, and out of the two games that launched, I was expecting to be like many hours into Wasteland and just played a little bit of, Tell Me Why. And it's been the other way around. I've been more interested in Tell Me Why than Wasteland, which I did not see coming. But hey, I mean, I'm playing both and I'm enjoying them. And honestly, like, I'm really surprised at how good they are. Wasteland, for instance, it's got XCOM style combat. It's got RPG stuff in. It's got your Fallout style perks, and it's just a very quirky post-apocalyptic RPG. And this is kind of on topic. Whenever these games have been coming out, I've noticed like Xbox Game Studios stuff for the past year has been really well received. We had Gears last year, and we had the Outer Worlds, then Gears Tactics on PC, which is coming to Xbox. Greatly received, no microtransactions, none of that stuff. Flight Simulator getting a lot of praise. Battletoads, it's kind of Marmite, that game. People either really like it or really dislike it.
Battletoads gets a lot of praise from me, but who would have expected anything different, bro? I'm just saying.
Wasteland 3, it's a really hardcore RPG, which a lot of people love, and then there's Tell Me Why, which is a new episodic series by Don't Nod, and they made Life is Strange in the past, and with Tell Me Why, I'm really surprised because It's it's literally a story based game where you literally walk around, pick up stuff, and
An interactive movie.
yeah, kind of. And you know what? I'm really enjoying it. The story isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's better, and you know, they kind of they don't nod. They aren't afraid to touch certain topics, and it's set in this town where there's a mystery going on, and I'm just really enjoying it. And I've finished episode 1. It ends on a cliffhanger, and something I like about what Don't Nod are doing is that with Life is Strange in the past, we sometimes had to wait months in between episodes. So
Mm-hmm.
by the time the next episode comes out, you kind of just like, should I replay the first episode again so I get up to date? All that kind of stuff. But they've came out and it's basically a week apart in between each episode, and that's pretty much the best way to do it, in my
I think
opinion.
that's
Because
perfect timing when it comes to like what they're doing with this. And again, Jamie, you know me when it comes to interactive movies. I can't necessarily call them games. I've played other interactive movies like, throughout my gaming history, and I enjoy the experience, but I don't necessarily call them games. But you're right, dude. 1 week in between, I feel that is the sweet spot when it comes down. If you're gonna release chapter after chapter, I think that 1 week is absolutely perfect, brother.
yeah, when they first announced this as a 3-part series, I was thinking, oh wait, well it's going to be like 3 months or 6 months in between episodes. But like they completely surprised me. They didn't even really tell anyone up until like we got the Game Pass information a week and a half ago or whatever. And it's like that is literally the perfect way to do it because you have enough time for everyone in the community to go through the game.
Mm-hmm.
People haven't gone through too much of the story where they can really openly spoil it, because if it's one a week, it gives you plenty of time to play through this 2 to 3 hour experience. And it's just the right way to do it. And episode 2 is already out, episode 3 is out next week. And yeah, I mean, the way they've handled it, and plus, if you've played games like the Telltale games, the engine was not that good, but at all. It ran like a slideshow sometimes. Wallace and Gromit ran at a higher frame rate.
mm.
Um, but like this, the engine, it legitimately looks good. The game starts off kind of with you going across this harbor, and like it's a gorgeous game. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think both games, for completely different audiences, but like they both offer something unique. And yeah, man, I mean, especially if you have Game Pass, like jump into them. I
I
highly recommend them.
Jamie, first off, when you said like, both these games, they're basically on opposite end spectrums of each other. And I think when it comes down to it, I think you're getting a taste of the diversity that, Xbox wants in Game Pass and in their, first party studios, their Xbox platform content, stuff like that. So that definitely makes sense. Now, I do want to ask you about Tell Me Why. I'm gonna say Tell Me Why first because it seems like you want to talk about that. So, let's talk about the characters. Like, what did you think about like so far the two main characters? One thing I will say, this is one thing I personally feel. I feel like there were certain instances where Tyler seemed to be a little too sensitive, like especially with that Sam guy when they first walked into the house,
Yeah, yeah.
the guy that was taking care of the place, like, and he doesn't know anything like any newfangled language or stuff. He's like out there in the wilderness with his beard, and he's not really on the internet or anything like that. I felt like Tyler was a little too kind of like sensitive about like his situation with people that don't really know how to express and stuff, because otherwise, like, it seemed like Sam was a really helpful guy and he was just trying to be nice and stuff like that. So that was my take on like Tyler. But what do you think about kind of like how the characters are developing so far with what you play?
I think the way that the Don't Nod have handled the characters is really tasteful, because like a lot of people in the community I've seen, this game wasn't really advertised in a sense where you knew what was going on. Like you had this weird like cat faced character thing in like in the trailer, but nobody really knew what was going on. And when it came out, like who these characters are, people were like, oh, so it's about all this, LGBTQ stuff, and it's not.
No.
It's not. Like Tyler, really well wrote character. His sister, really well wrote character, and it's again, it's a mystery in this town, and the interaction with Sam near the beginning of the game where. Tyler was kind of like a bit sensitive with how he was acting, but
Yeah,
again,
because the guy doesn't know. He's trying to be nice, man. Come on.
yeah, but like the way it was handled, because again, this is like some backwater town in the middle of nowhere where they don't really know any better, and it's like it would be like that,
Yes.
And I just think the way they handled the characters is really well done, and the fact that I'm like, so engaged in the story after one episode, it's really telling, like the quality of the storytelling.
Dude, I just started chapter 2 like a little while ago before, I started setting up the show and all that good stuff. And if you kind of like the way chapter 1 ended, you are really going to get into chapter 2 within the matter of like 15 minutes playing it, man. Dude,
I've got to say, Skinny just said, "Come on, who YouTubed the first puzzle? Guilty."
I did not, dude. I sat there with the Book of Goblins. I sat there with the Book of Goblins, and I looked at what was going on, and I'm like, you know what? I will solve it, and I did, bro. So you YouTubed it?
Yep.
There's no shame in that, brother. No shame whatsoever.
I was just like, I cannot be bothered with this puzzle at like 2 a.m. So I was like, nope, straight to YouTube.
Yo, straight to YouTube. That is one of the things that gamers have now. That like back in the day, we did not have. We didn't have. We had to go buy like magazines and stuff like that. The the walkthroughs and all that good stuff. If we really wanted to go and get everything, but nowadays gamers can just turn on YouTube and type in the name of the game and what they want to see how to do, and poof, it's right there. It's right there.
Yeah, and a funny thing that this whole "tell me why" thing is, I've noticed like Twitter's flooded with Backstreet Boys gifs.
Oh no!
Just because of that one song, yeah, I mean, I'm liking the game, and I haven't played like a really good episodic game since Life is Strange, like the first season. And you can tell they've learned a lot, like storytelling wise and gameplay wise, and there isn't a ton of quote unquote gameplay in it, but like the fact that I've been playing this more than Wasteland says it all, really.
Man, yeah, there's so many things I want to say, and I'm not really gonna dive in too deep because Jamie, I got questions. There was something at like the police station I wanted to talk to you about, but yeah, I'm gonna save that so this way, people who haven't tried this out yet, I don't want to like absolutely say everything about chapter 1 or whatnot, but yeah, it definitely the story and what's going on has definitely hooked into me. Again, I look at this as more of an experience, but Wasteland 3 now. Jamie, you know me when it comes to XCOM games like that. I'm not really. It's not really my bag, let's say. So what do you think about Wasteland 3? What were kind of like your high points? Are there any low points, stuff that you noticed? Just kind of give us your thoughts and opinions on that game. And how much time did you spend on Wasteland 3?
I think I've spent maybe 5 hours in Wasteland 3. But I like it. Bear in mind, I like XCOM. That style of combat. It's basically chess with like a few extra rules, and I like it because again, we haven't had a ton of releases this year, and to have like a new RPG like this is just a bit fresh, and it is punishing. The game ain't easy. I tell people, and I told you last week, like, don't be afraid to put these types of games on easy because again, like XCOM, punishing as hell. Like, I put it like this: in the first 20 minutes of the game after you've created your character, you get put into a situation where you may not even have the ability to use health packs, and you're surrounded by about 8 characters, and there's almost no way to get out of the situation unless you have like the exact right perks. But if you put it on, literally easy, it's a lot. It's not. The thing is, even easy mode isn't too easy. There's still some bit of a challenge. But it's like for people that really get into these style of tactics games, there's a big scale there for people. And I just love the universe. These are literally the creators of the Fallout franchise, so they know what they're doing. People have been messaging me this past week. It's like, oh, it's got some like Fallout 3 style like perks, and it's like, no, like literally, it came from the original Wasteland series or the Fallout series, which are by these devs, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a good game. Like it's a legitimately good RPG, and to see like we've now got two RPGs by Xbox Game Studios in the past year, and
Mm-hmm.
both have been received really well. And they're both completely different RPGs. You have the first person one by Obsidian, and you have this one, which is a top down isometric game, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like, and the thing is, this game's meant to have like 100 hours of gameplay, so I should be on it for a while.
Okay, well, yo, check this out. First off, Skint Eastwood in the chat says, "Shout out to Xbox 448 for bringing this show back an hour." Because a lot of shows start at like 7 p.m. when it comes to podcasts, especially in this community. I do want to let Skint know, Skint, you gotta thank the elusive gamer. You gotta thank Jamie Moran here because this was the time that we agreed on where he, his schedule was flexible and he can do starting 6 p.m. Eastern time. So that's all Jamie right there. So shout out to you, Jamie, for that. You know, one thing you were saying about RPGs and Xbox Game Studios, and it's something that we had in the DM, but I want to ask you about this because a lot of people are trying to think of what is Xbox like Game Studios, what's going to be their identity, moving forward. I mean, they have a wide range of studios there, but what is going to be that hook? What is going to be that thing that a lot of people kind of like associate with Xbox Game Studios? Now, you know, you see Outer Worlds coming out, you see Wasteland 3 coming out, and the RPG community absolutely loving those games. So, Jamie, what do you think when it comes to Xbox Game Studios? Do you think RPGs is going to be that hook, or do you think that that's going to be something that as we keep going into the future, that's something that the gamers are going to associate with Xbox first party, or do you think it might be something else?
Oh no, it's going to be RPGs.
Really?
Like, think about it. This time a few years ago, Microsoft didn't have like they literally had less than 5 studios making games, and it was shooters and racing games. That's essentially it. And a lot of the feedback for years was they need more studios. And me personally, I was like, I want them to make RPGs. And we went so many years without a Fable game. And they
Mm-hmm.
get Obsidian, they get In Exile and Playground and making Fable. And it's like we have two RPGs now, which are, getting really good reviews and, a lot of good talk. And the expansion for Outer Worlds comes out soon, which looks good. And it's like it's clear that Microsoft want to lean into RPGs because people say that Game Pass is filled with microtransactions and stuff. Where I don't really think that's the case. You have Gears Tactics on PC, which is coming to Xbox, which has RPG elements. There's no microtransactions at all. And I hope they'll probably get a sequel to that, which will end up having more RPG stuff. But it's like Avowed, literally a single player RPG in the vein of like Skyrim, and then we have Fable coming out, which is again single player, RPG. So it's like I think people won't be going, Halo, Forza, Gears in the future. I think people will be going, oh yeah, RPGs.
RPG Game
Yeah.
Studios RPGs, man. When they did acquire the studios that they acquired, and with the In Exile and all that good stuff, I did have a sense that they were going to go deeper into like the RPG kind of like gaming community, and so far, what they've come out with Wasteland 3, with the Outer Worlds, it just seems like this is going to be that place for those quality. And Avowed, one thing I want to say about the Avowed trailer, because a lot of people were like, it was just cinematic cutscene and stuff like that. But if you look at the last part of that, where it goes into that first person narrative, and you have the guy holding the sword, and you have him like casting a spell in his hand. Like I am absolutely hoping that Avowed looks like that last part of the trailer, because there was parts to me in there that would say this is what they're trying to reach in terms of gameplay graphically. You know what I'm saying, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, like the Digital Foundry thing when they covered the event, they noticed that there was aliasing on the sword. You wouldn't really get that if it was pre-rendered.
Mm.
So it's like, and the thing is, let's say that was CG. I don't think it was. I think it was actually gameplay. But let's say it was CG. Like normally when you see a CG trailer, you get a feel for tone for what they're actually trying to do in the game, and the fact that
Mm.
they went into first person. And the dude had like this spell that looked like it was straight from Doctor Strange. Like I've seen so many people just mention that spell on Twitter. It just goes to show that how cool that looks. It's just a silly
Yes.
little simple spell with the runes and stuff, and it's like. And the thing is, we've gone an entire generation without a Elder Scrolls game, like a single player Elder Scrolls, and people are just looking at that Avowed trailer and basically salivating because we haven't had that. And I think a lot of the Elder Scrolls community look at that, think, what, we're probably going to get that before the next Elder Scrolls.
Good chance, man. And they've been supporting Elder Scrolls Online for a long time because online persistent games, they constantly feed in terms of revenue. You know what I'm saying? So there are companies that are going to be like, man, well, we're gonna develop this thing. We're gonna keep on adding content until the wheels fall off because at the end of the day, they're still getting revenue for adding smaller sections of content into the game. I mean, it business wise it makes sense, but I know there are a lot of people out there looking for that more traditional kind of like Elder Scrolls feel, that more traditional type game. And I would, if I were a betting man, I would say that yeah, that might come out before a traditional Elder Scrolls will come out. But Jamie, let's move along here because new games did come out for the Xbox, and they are multiplats. So I know some people out there might be like, "Well, why are you talking about these and stuff?" But they're on Xbox, all right. So I think we should definitely see, what the chat thinks about these games, and definitely go back and forth between me and you on these. So the newer games that have come out, there's two of them. I'm gonna start I guess we'll go alphabetical here, and I'm going to start with the Avengers game. Now, the Avengers game came out on Xbox One, and it is multiplat. Jamie, have you purchased the Avengers game?
No. And the main reason why is because I looked at that game, and after playing the beta, and I put a lot of hours into the beta, I thought for the 60 frames, I'm holding off till next gen.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking this here. Okay. Um, when it comes to Avengers for me, I didn't pick it up either. And the main thing is I see them trying to tout this as that kind of like games as a service type game. And right now, Destiny 2, when it comes to a game as a service, Destiny 2 takes up my my I guess you say that whole section right now in kind of like my gaming library. There was a couple things I played the beta. Jamie, did you try out the beta at all?
For Avengers.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I played a ton of it.
Dude, what did you think about the gameplay? I'm hearing that people are saying like the final product was a lot better, but I do know when I was in there playing, and it wasn't even a beta. Let's call it what it was. It was a demo, all right, to get
Oh yeah.
people hyped up for the game or whatnot. So I'm not even gonna call it a beta. It was a demo. But within playing the demo, just to me, like the gameplay, it felt really heavy, and I know a lot of it was probably because I was dealing with mostly the Incredible Hulk at that point in time. But it really felt heavy to me. It really felt clunky, and then even when I was playing as Thor and Iron Man, I honestly I think the best character that I played in the demo was Black Widow. I think hers was more speedy, more up to date. It felt a lot better than the others. But what did you think about the gameplay on the demo? Do you hear what I'm saying and kind of agree, or are you going off on a different side of things, bro.
Oh, I agree. I mean, before actually trying the game, I was like, okay, I'm gonna main this game as Thor, and then after playing it, I was like, well, Hulk was fun. Thor seemed a bit. I'm not entirely sure. Iron Man was all right, but like Black Widow and Hulk for me stood out because Black Widow kind of controlled like a Lara Croft Tomb Raider game. Which I liked. I like those games. But Hulk was fun just to run about and smash stuff because that's what Hulk does. But like the beginning of the game opens up with like a very cinematic set piece thing where you go through all the different characters, and I really liked that. And this game, it's essentially Avengers Destiny. And for people that know me, like I don't really like Destiny, as in the sense of that, like those.
Oh, I'm gonna work on you with that. Just by the way, over time, I'm gonna work on you with the whole Destiny thing. But go ahead, bro.
I like to call those games appointment gaming, like like things like that, the Division, and things like Anthem. And I hyped up Anthem, by the way, like no one else. I was like, oh, another BioWare game. Time to hype train this like nothing else. And after a few hours, I was like, this isn't for me. And there's nothing wrong with those games. I could compliment those games despite the fact I don't like them. Destiny has some of the best gunplay of any first-person shooter ever. It has gorgeous graphics, but at the end of the day, it's just not for me.
Sir,
But
so
like,
are you saying that when the new expansions go into Game Pass and you have the ability to, I don't know, join one of your podcast brothers in the game that he absolutely loves, you're not going to take that and join me in Destiny 2, bro?
we'll see. We'll see.
Dude, I put the pressure on right off the bat with that one, man.
It's mainly the thing. Like when it comes to these games, and one of the reasons why I didn't pick up Avengers just yet, even though I will get it, it's like I like to play games when it's on me. Like these games have raids and stuff that are limited time and stuff, and it's like, sometimes I just want to play a game of Rocket League and then turn off the console. Sometimes I want to play an RPG for 5 hours. But when it comes to like, oh, I have to play this game at that time, like it's just like, nah, I'm out. I learned that with the Division. Like I was so hyped for the Division, and then I played it, and one of my mates texted saying, "Hey, you up for playing the Division?" I'm like, no, I want to do what I want to do.
I don't feel like it right now. Like, dude,
yeah,
I get that way in Destiny 2 as well. And just real quick, shout out to Shizno Elite, brother. I will play that game with you whenever you want. Just saying. Shout out to Jedno for hitting up that super chat. Thank you for the support, brother. He says all the characters need a buff, especially Hulk. So he says that the characters don't feel that super heroic when it comes to the Avengers game. And Master Clown, I guess he agreed with Jedno. That's where I'm going to go with that. I think he agreed, but he agreed in a super chat. So thank you, Master Clown, for the support. But Jamie, what do you think about that? Like that is one opinion out there from somebody who's obviously playing the game, that the superheroes don't feel like super enough. They all need a buff.
Yeah, I mean, when you go and play as Hulk, when the game opens up a bit, it's like you're just hitting X and Y, smashing stuff constantly, which is what Hulk does. But it's like there's some of the smaller enemies which I had to hit like 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and it's like that wouldn't really be a thing, would it? And you're fighting robots made by AIM. It's like those things shouldn't be that powerful, and I'm playing as the green dude. And it's things that you can actually update fairly fast, and they may do, but it's like a lot of the feedback I'm seeing from the game is that the single player stuff really cool, but the multiplayer stuff isn't really there. And it's a game that they're going to support literally for years with free content. And it's like, if they're going to continue to support it and try and have an audience come back consistently, they have to make sure that the characters play right and, are actually fun. Because if I'm just playing as Hulk, hitting X constantly, and there's not much to it, people are going to go away from the game fast.
Brother, I think Fastback, shout out to Fastback in the chat. I think he kind of summed up what I think about this right now. And not saying that down the line when there's like, a sale, I might not consider picking it up or whatnot. But basically, Fastback said Avengers Game looks cool, but generic, and I think that's the feeling I have with it when I see the gameplay. When I look at the trailers, I'm like, yo, it looks cool. It looks like there's a lot of potential, but when it comes to the fighting, to me, it just seems a little too generic for an Avengers game. You know what I'm saying, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, like again, like you look at the UI and you're like, okay, it's exactly like Destiny. You're moving around this round cursor, and there's selecting armor pieces and stuff.
Hmm.
Some of the most of the armor pieces don't even look different. So it's like,
Dude, from what I heard, my oldest son said the ultra rare armor pieces will change the look of your character. If you're putting it on the arms, it'll change the arms and stuff like that. But anything below the ultra rare, which is the rarest that you can get for the armor pieces and all that good stuff. And from what I hear, they're not easy to come by. Those are the only pieces that will somewhat change the look. Otherwise, you're dealing with skins that basically scream microtransaction, man.
yeah, I mean, like, and to me that doesn't sound good because that's giving me Destiny flashbacks when I was standing in front of a cave for 5 hours shooting into it over and over again to try and get better loot. And I learned the hard way. I wish I had a pound for every minute I spent shooting at a bloody cave in Destiny 1. But it's like like that doesn't sound appealing to me. But the fact that it's Avengers and it's a superhero game, I know I'm gonna get it. Like I know I'm gonna get it because I thought, well, I could play it at 4K and 60 next generation and just run around as Hulk smashing stuff. Like
Mm.
great that, and I'll get my money out of it. It's just like when it comes to the whole long term multiplayer stuff, I don't really think it's going to be there for me.
All right, I got you, bro. Well, let's go to the another game that actually came out, and you're seeing gameplay of it right now. I believe. Hold on, let me check. Yes. All right, and it is a game that I did pick up. I've had it pre-ordered for a long time. It is the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake. Now, Jamie, did you get this gem of a game, bro?
No,
He's like, times are hard, man. I can't spend all my money on games. Like,
I
uh,
I have I have a lot of games to buy over the next 6 months, so it's like I'm picking my battles here, you know.
okay. Um,
But I bear in mind, I used to play the original Tony Hawk games all the way up to American Wasteland 2. Like, so I used to like these games a lot, and you know these kind of remakes is something I'll pick up later down the line. I've done that with many remasters this generation, and like the way this game's selling at the minute, like people have so much nostalgia for Tony Hawk. And after the colossal failure that was Tony Hawk 5, which it literally didn't sell at all. Like the new game is sell like over about 400% better than Tony Hawk 5.
damn.
And they've gotten a studio that's taking care of the game. They've literally made the game from the ground up. It's like how you would think it would look back in the day, but with current generation graphics. And it's amazing that they've been able to get all the soundtrack back, or at least 70% of the soundtrack back. But it is something I will get. It's just like at the minute, like a skating game, I'm putting off for a bit. But like everyone online, the overwhelming like positivity of it, like everyone's loving it.
Oh yeah,
And
dude.
literally, my Twitter feed is filled with Tony Hawk clips.
Yo, shout out to Crispy Bomb. I know Crispy's been playing this. Shout out to my brother Flamish as well, who started playing it today. This game, at least in U.S. dollars, it's 40 U.S. dollars, and with that, you get the remake of Tony Hawk 1 and 2, kind of like put together. I have to say this game is an absolute love letter to Tony Hawk fans out there, to people who love the first few iterations when they came out. Was addicted to playing this game. Um, Dude, 4K HDR, 60 frames per second. There, your character, your skateboarding character feels weighty. Like it all just feels really good, and they've added some additions here. Like when it comes to there's a challenge system that when you complete, the harder challenges, the harder challenge sets, you can unlock skateboard decks that are actually animated. So the bottom of the deck moves, like the illustration, the graphics, they like move. So you'll have a dragon where the fire in the background is literally burning and stuff like that. They have done a lot of really really cool things with this game. But they did not mess with the chemistry. Like, you can tell that they adjusted the gameplay and kind of like sped it up, made it a little more up to date, than just kind of like putting the original code into a fresh coat of paint graphically type remake. But everything feels really good so far. There's a lot of things to like grind for, stuff like that. There's a lot of replay value. But Jamie, one thing I gotta say, I gotta there. There's always positives and negatives. Right now, the biggest negative, and again, shout out to Flamish, because we went in and we tried to create a private online match with just me and him and mess around and play the game and stuff. Um there is no private matches yet, not until a fall update. And if you go into the public matches, and I know a lot of people do this in the game. They did it when it first came out and stuff. Jamie, like how you can kind of like you can glitch your scores up higher. You're grinding, bouncing off the wall, then you're grinding down the same thing, bouncing off and you're just going back and forth between one grind and two walls, and you're just like adding up your multiplier that way. There's a lot of that online, dude. There is an insane amount of that online, man. And I gotta say, right now, without having the private matches where you can just bring your friends in and you can goof around, you can mess around and stuff, the online does not feel that good to me right now, bro. But other than that, I think graphically the game looks amazing. Isn't it fall already? Sometime within the fall, I guess they're gonna do this update. But other than that, like, you can't really get into private matches. So, all that being said, the gameplay feels really good. It's really, like I said, it's a love letter to people who really did get into the first couple Tony Hawks. And not only do they have most of the classic tracks, but they brought in new music as well that really does fit in all together, like across the complete kind of like music soundtrack for this game. I think they did an absolutely incredible job, dude. Little quirks in this as well, because like they have the original characters from the original Tony Hawk, but instead of making them like they were, they scanned them in as to how they look now, being older and all that good stuff, which I think is a really it's a funny quirk to the game, because they also have new pro skateboarders in there, and of course those new pro skateboarders, they are younger. You could definitely see how they look different, but to see like Tony Hawk there, but Tony Hawk in his like what late 40s, early 50s, and still pulling off a 900 in a half pipe and stuff. It's incredibly fun. I highly suggest, if anybody out there, if you are a skateboarding fan and you've been missing a more arcadey skateboarding type game, it's $40. I highly suggest picking it up. It to me it is a great time, and I will be grinding that game to get all of the animated skateboard decks. So yeah, I don't know. I really like it, dude, and I can't say it enough. I highly suggest people get in and check it out. But brother, I think it's about time we move on, and I want to talk about something that I saw was announced this week, and it has to deal with October 3rd, because October 3rd, Xbox and Mojang will be doing a live stream showing new updates to Minecraft. And I'm really excited for that. I am a Minecraft fan. Um, I was on hiatus for a little while, and we'll get into that and stuff. But Jamie, October 3rd, we're gonna be getting new news when it comes to the game Minecraft. So I gotta ask you, man, are you excited? Are you ready to tune into this live stream? And of course, dude, they're talking about big updates and stuff like that. If you had to predict, man, what do you think we're gonna see? Are we gonna see the whole ray tracing stuff like that? What do you think we're gonna see with this Minecraft live stream, bro?
Yeah, they've got to show next gen ray
Let's
tracing.
do it. Yeah. Go ahead.
When the Xbox One X came out, they hyped up this thing. I think it was called like the Big Huge Experience or whatever. It was like the big Xbox One X enhancement for Minecraft, and it wasn't just going to be resolution. It was going to be like better lighting and all that stuff. But that never came. They cancelled it, and they said it had to do with memory issues on the original Xbox One, and it was disappointing. But the thing about Minecraft is that like after that was like disannounced, like I kind of stood back from Minecraft and haven't really went back to it since. And believe me when I say I've spent more time in Minecraft than I care to admit.
So you're
But
talking the super duper graphics pack when they were talking about that, and
yeah,
then they said no, we're not doing that.
I mean, they clearly spent millions on an advert for it, where the woman that plays Supergirl in the TV series was literally doing a singing dance about Minecraft.
I remember
And
that too.
it's clear that they had plans, but like they probably thought, you know what, we got ray tracing, let's put it off a bit. And Minecraft and ray tracing, like a lot of people don't like Minecraft because it's all blocky and you hit a tree with your fist until you've got tree bits.
Well, it worked
And
better if you use an axe, though. Let's be real.
but you start with a fist. But like the ray tracing in this game looks amazing, and let's face it, we all need to see more next generation stuff. And it's September, and with the next generation console coming, they have to show off next generation, ray tracing with Minecraft. It makes sense. I mean, they put us off for so long with that whole Xbox One X update, and when they cancelled that, it's like at least give us something. And with it being like, everyone watching from home, people want to know what we get in next generation. And while Minecraft might be kind of niche, it's still one of the biggest games on the planet.
It is the biggest game on the planet. Like, people talk about, Call of Duty Warzone, and they talk about Fortnite and stuff like that. But when it comes to active users playing a game, I believe Minecraft is still number one on all those lists. Like they have been number one for I don't know how long, because the game's been out forever. But it's a game that caters to like everybody. If you want to explore, you have this whole world to go out and explore. Go spelunking as well, which me and you off air, you're talking about that was one of the things you absolutely love to do. You would just like start digging and just go into the caves, and that's a main part of what I like as well. But this game is still insanely popular. I just think that it's been popular for so long that people just don't even talk about it now. They're like, yeah, no, we know there's so many millions of people playing the game. That's typical now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, look at Grand Theft Auto. Came out 7 years ago. It still charts in the top 10 every week, and it's one of the most streamed games on Twitch. And nobody talks about it. Like I can scroll down my Twitter feed for hours and not see anything GTA related. Yet it's still one of the biggest games on the planet for the past 7 years, and people love that game. And I like when it comes to GTA, I've put over 37 days worth into that game online. And the fun fact, I used to be addicted to that game, and I can admit it. So many hours wasted, I'll never get back. But seriously, I know we're talking about Minecraft, but like GTA Online, I spent so much time on that I kind of look back at it and think, like, what did I do with my life?
Dude, I'm kind of in that boat with you, but my time with it was like the end of the 360 era, beginning of the Xbox One era. I started a crew through Rockstar's website, and we would get in and we would play. You know, majority of days throughout the week, and we would do crazy things. Of course, doing the heists and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I and then you look back at it because I haven't played GTA in so long. I'm like, well, what did that do for me there? But I did have a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fun with my crew members, and of course, O Snaps was a crew member at the time as well. And she used to have this habit in GTA where she would tell me to come pick her up, right? So I would go to pick her up, and as soon as she jumped into my car, I had like 3 stars, 4 stars. Like she would start trouble, and then bring that trouble to me because you can't tell the lady that you're not gonna go pick her up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know we're talking about Minecraft, but I put it like this: I spent so much time in GTA Online. I made over $375 million, and that was before we got heists.
Mm.
So that's how much I grinded in that game. But again, back to Minecraft. People play Minecraft like that. People have played for years, and it's just one of those things. And people want to see ray tracing because again, 2 months out, we need to see more.
Okay, yeah, don't mind me. I was just looking, yo, Chris, you are teetering here, Chris. Dude, we're only talking Xbox. That is it in the chat and on the show. All right? I'm just saying. But yeah, thank God we got moderators in the building. Crispy Bomb is here, and I got a few other moderators. Guys, you already know the drill. Only Xbox, no other platforms, no comparisons or anything like that. We are here for the Xbox gamer to talk Xbox news and Xbox topics. So that's what we're gonna keep this show about, okay? But on that note, Jamie, one thing about this Minecraft live stream is it's October 3rd, and the reason why that's one of the main reasons why that I'm thinking we are gonna see kind of like more news about the next gen Minecraft, for the Series X because that's a lot closer to launch. And if you're planning out a live stream for a game that is so popular, uh, with the potential for an upgrade like ray tracing that will mean so much to the game, to me it's a no-brainer that they're going to show that on their big live event. Do you agree with that, man? Like it's so close to November and the launching of the Series X and of course the Series S, even though they haven't talked about that yet, really. Um, doesn't it just make sense that they would go in with this live stream with the big news being about this game running on that next gen console on the Series X with all the bells and whistles? I think I would say lock it in, but what do you think, man? Does that make sense?
Yeah, they need to. I mean, look, I know we're talking about Minecraft, but we need to see next gen stuff, man. Like we had no E3, and we thought we were going to get an Xbox event every month, and they changed their mind on that, and at least they told us. But it's like we need to see more. And like if you look at this time 7 years ago, we'd already seen about 10 minutes of gameplay of Rise Son of Rome, probably about the same amount of Dead Rising 3, and a bunch of third party games. But it's like we haven't really seen much. And Minecraft being one of those things. And again, we still need to see a list of all the current gen games that's getting enhanced for next generation. And
Mm.
it's like we don't know as much info as we need to because again, I can scroll down Twitter and it's just people saying they want a pre-order, and it's people saying that they need to see more because not everyone's sold on next generation. Like the truth is, like these current gen consoles we've got right now are still very capable, and we have cross-gen games coming out for years, and it's like people just want to see and like read about Xbox next generation stuff, and next generation's around the corner, and we don't know much. We still have backwards compatible news to get, And again, we don't know anything. We meant to get something like DLSS on console. Again, we don't know much about that officially. It's like Minecraft is just one part of that puzzle,
Hmm.
and we haven't seen the entire puzzle yet.
Dude, I will say this, like the marketing and everything, and of course I know what's going on in the world and stuff. It has had an effect on this, but it has literally been a huge shit show in terms of like actually showing stuff. Of course, E3 was canceled due to everything going on in the world, all that good stuff, and um, all I gotta say is this kind of, to me, this certifies the fact that we need the shows like E3 and everything just to keep these like the keep this news for what's coming down the line with Xbox, keeping it on track. I don't know what's going on in terms of like the Xbox division. There are things to be said, but that's for another show and stuff. But yeah, there's so much information that still needs to be talked about. But I am glad. This is a huge sign for me when it comes down to it that they're showing a live stream. They're doing they're talking about big updates for a huge game in the Xbox Game Studio, being Minecraft. To me, that's a sign that the information will be coming out. We will be getting a ton more information. The backwards compatibility titles, um, and what they're going to bring to the table. Of course, some things have been said from some third party studios, which we are going to get into today as well. But yeah, Jamie, I'm with you. There's still so much information that needs to be talked about, and here we are in September wondering what's going on. But before you kind of address that as well, I want to give shout out to my brother Dragonheart Yobi hitting up that super chat. Not only his super chat, which I am about to read, but my brother Flamish is the newest member to this YouTube channel. Yo, shout out to you, Flamish. Check your chats because you will be able to use um emojis that are strictly for the members of this channel. So have fun with those. Dragonheart Yobi said, "Oh, just scrolled up real bit. The original Xbox had 200 exclusive titles. What the fuck? I recently picked up an OG Xbox with every game installed on it. Wow, man, 200 titles. I think that was." They were Xbox was breaking into the industry at that point in time, and I think they really wanted to make a splash. So I can definitely see, damn, Jamie, 200 titles is. Do you think that's around how many there were
Yeah, I
exclusive?
mean, the original Xbox had a ridiculous amount of like exclusives because, like, remember, like Sega was coming from their downfall, so they had a ton of Sega games exclusive, and they had a lot of Japanese studios coming out with
Mm-hmm.
stuff. From Software even made some exclusive games, and it's like that was the early 2000s were a very hardcore time when it comes to gaming. There was no such thing as casual games back then. Like if you were in the gaming industry and if you were talking about gaming, there was no mobile games. You know,
Mm.
there was two types of games. There was flash games that you play during class, and there was hardcore games, and that was it. And it's very telling if you look at the catalogs back then, even going back like to the Atari, like everything was like a hardcore game. Everything. There wasn't casual stuff. And the original Xbox had this like huge library of stuff like that, and games in many different genres and stuff. And it's like, that's one of the things that I think about Game Pass and Xbox Game Studios going forward is that I think they're trying to get back into that because like different genres. Like we just had a new Battletoads game this year, something of
Yes.
which I never thought would come back. In that game, it ain't the easiest game, but it's a hardcore game, whether people want to like it or not. It may not be super realistic, but it's something
Ja-
different.
Jamie, I will let you know. Any one of my friends who complained about, at least the ones I know, kind of like on YouTube and stuff like that. Any of the ones who complained that the game was 3 hours long. Can I let you in on a little secret, Jamie,
Yeah.
about their experience? They all played it on Tadpole. They all played it on the easiest difficulty. I was like, well, there's your 3 hours right there, bro. Like you just basically went to the game mode that would just hand you progression. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta play on normal or harder, man. Come on,
Yeah.
bro.
I mean, look at something like Quantum Break, right? That game, it took me about, I think it was like 15 hours or something. It was something like that. And, people are posting saying that you can finish it in 5. The truth is, you can finish any game quick if you skip cutscenes, skip dialogue, don't pick up side, objects and stuff. It's like literally every game. Like, look at Mass Effect. I yap on about that game 56,000 times a day. And, every single time I've played those games, I 100% them. And it takes around about 55 hours to do everything.
Hmm.
Now, considering how much I know that game, I could probably finish that game in a few hours.
Yeah, I got you.
It,
But see, the whole thing about like skipping cutscenes and stuff like that, like I play games to get immersed into the world, to really dig into the story. Like even if I do a second, third, fourth run of a single player game, like I still wanna I wanna feel like I'm that character. So that's one thing, Jamie, you'll never see me doing that to kind of get through a game as quick as possible. If the game doesn't catch me in terms of the story and the immersion, I just won't play the game. Like I won't skip cutscenes and try to get through it as quick as possible. You know what? I just don't see myself doing stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, I don't do that either. And like, it's like, look at Halo 5 when that came out. Whether people like that campaign or not, I've seen people play through that campaign and they skip all the cutscenes and they literally sprint from one location to the next.
Mm.
And they say, oh, well, it only finished, it only lasted like 5 to 6 hours. And it's like, it's because you sprinted everywhere and didn't listen to optional dialogue. It's like literally any game that's ever been created, you can go through it as fast as possible.
Mm. Yeah, yo, again, shout out to Dragonheart. Yo, be hitting up that super chat one more time. Thank you, brother. He says, I've been a Next member for a year plus. I am extremely proud to be a part of something greater than great. I love you, brother. And then he says, Commander Jamie, never let fear compromise who you are. Hashtag Mass Effect. Shout out to you, brother.
Nice.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yo, shout out to the newest moderator on the channel, my brother Flamish. Flamish, and he is going in. And yo, Flamish, I hope you like the battle toad that's next to your name. All the new members get that battle toad, and then when you subscribe for so much time, you've been a member for so much time, those icons actually get upgraded over time. So dude, I'm digging the little battle toad by Master Clown and Flamish right there, man. Definitely digging that. But dude, I'm excited for Minecraft. My story, Jamie, which we were talking about, off air a little bit. My story when it comes to Minecraft. First off, I am a redstone guy. I love making like trapdoors. I love making things work in Minecraft, and that was my main kind of like niche in the game. Like I would build houses and stuff like that, but once you got inside and you figured out this trapdoor would lead underground into this place and then another trapdoor, and when you open the door all the lights turned on, stuff like that was my thing. That's what I really like doing. And I was big into going into the mines for days and just picking up as much material as I could. Of course, redstone being high on my list of the the material that I wanted. But after a while, I started playing it a little bit less, and then I started hearing about the super duper graphics pack, just like you, Jamie. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna chill with this game for a while, and then I'm gonna go back to it when it has that graphic upgrade. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna dive deep into it the way I was playing it before. And then that got canceled, and I got upset. And it wasn't until maybe a few months ago that I even jumped back into Minecraft. I was like, I've been waiting for this graphic update that never happened, and so I'm just going to jump back into it. And then we started hearing about ray tracing. And I think that this is a no brainer that this is going to come out. I am incredibly excited. I want to start kind of like having, a world where, me and my followers can come together and just start building some craziness together, stuff like that. It's something I always wanted on this channel, when it comes to Minecraft. And I can't wait for the update. I think they are going to show it again October 3rd, really close to November. I don't see why they wouldn't go into detail on exactly what's going to be there in terms of ray tracing and all that good stuff, you know, with this game on the Series X. And I am incredibly excited. And shout out to Christopher Hart who asked if Minecraft is going to look with ray tracing is going to look better than Halo Infinite. Now, Halo Infinite, the gameplay that we did see in the reveal trailer, unfortunately, it was not ray traced, right? But first off, they're two different art styles. Not only that, I think they're going to use two different types of ray tracing. What you're seeing here with Minecraft is called path tracing, and it's basically complete ray tracing. There's no other lighting solution that's going on. All the lighting in this, what you're seeing, this demonstration with Minecraft, is all completely ray tracing. So when it comes down to it, I think path tracing, it will naturally look better than any other type of ray tracing. But that doesn't say that Minecraft with ray tracing is going to look better than Halo Infinite, because they are two completely different games, completely different art styles. I think they're both going to look really good when everything is done and they are out there and gamers are enjoying them. But Jamie, what do you think about that? Like, do you agree with me? Like, they're two different games. They're two different types of ray tracing. I personally can't compare them, but what do you think about Christopher's question there, man?
Can we really compare Minecraft to Halo? For instance, I like Rick and Morty, but I also like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, you got to compare them then, man. You got to.
Like, how do I compare them? Like, I can't. Like, I literally can't. And it's like the thing is, ever since the whole Halo delay, people will literally find any point of, contention to try and make it about Halo. Like, literally, we're talking about Minecraft.
Yeah.
Minecraft and ray tracing, and Halo gets brought up. Like,
yeah, no,
really?
I know. Unfortunately, when it comes to Halo, there's too many people complaining about the delay and not thinking about what type of hard decision it was to actually delay that game, because Series X is coming out day one with no first party game. That was a huge decision to make, when it came down to it, about delaying that game. I know there's a lot of disappointed people out there, but it was the right decision at that point in time. And for them to make that decision, because, people talk about that, Xbox game studios, they're just gonna fill up Game Pass with AA, and all they care about is maintaining Game Pass. Well, obviously they don't, because they're like, you know what, we need to bring this back. We need to release this next year, and not with the Series X, because it's just not ready. I mean, that was a hard decision, bro.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, the whole delay thing, but do you know what's funny, right? I can make a statement on Twitter, and then something will happen, and then I'll make a statement like an adult, and people will try and turn it into a meme because they have no life or something.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I said I like the look of Halo Infinite's gameplay, and then when it was delayed, I posted, "Well, I understand, blah blah blah." And then people were posting together, the two tweets together. It's like, not once did I say the game looked amazing. I said the gameplay looked good. And, as an adult, I saw the crap Halo was getting online. And I would rather that a game like Halo gets delayed, so it's a better product, even though I thought it looked good. Case in point, The Witcher 3, one of the best games ever made,
Oh,
if
you
not the
gave
best
you
game
that's
ever
the
made.
second segue you gave me so far, bro.
But before we get into like The Witcher 3 again,
Yeah.
like that game was delayed 4 times, and look how it turned out to be. And the thing is, every time it was delayed, while it was disappointing, I thought the game looked good, but I'd rather a game get delayed so it's a better game, because
Mhm.
we've seen games this generation, from Assassin's Creed Unity to, well, every other game that's got bugs. Like, too many games get launched early and they're just a mess, and it ruins the experience for people. It ruins, like, developers' lives, probably, because again, when these games get memed constantly, these devs don't like it. It puts their years of hard work to, like, down the drain. And you know, like, think about it, as someone that makes GIFs, me, I work with individual frames when I make GIFs, and for people to find that Craig image, people had maybe about 3 to 5 different frames they could have found that in.
Dude, Craig
In a
Craig
10
was on the screen for a split second, like that picture that they grabbed. They did. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm kind of glad that they did, because I had a lot of fun with Craig. I put him on Thomas Edison, a picture of Thomas Edison, and to let people know how smart Craig was. I put Craig's face on He-Man to show people how powerful Craig was, and like I had a lot of fun. But you're right, dude. That they had to go in and go frame by frame to grab that. I understand what you're saying, man.
And again, the Witcher 4 is a prime example of that. Again, that got delayed more than Cyberpunk. Yet people are more worried about Cyberpunk getting delayed again for whatever reason. It's like, people will always be worried about stuff like this, and I think that might be a good segue into the next topic.
Nice, that was beautiful, bro. Again, you are a natural, man, because you gave me two segues. The first one, I was like, oh, but we're not ready to move on yet. But this one, absolutely perfect, because CD Project Red, uh everybody knows them with what they did with the Witcher series, and like how many people absolutely love the Witcher franchise now. And they're coming out with a new game, Cyberpunk 2077, which a lot of people, a lot of Xbox gamers, a lot of gamers in general are just really excited to have come out. And Cyberpunk was delayed until November, which was kind of a bummer. There was people that picked up the limited edition Xbox One X that had the whole kind of like Cyberpunk. It had full customization, all that good stuff. But the game comes out in November. Not only that, CD Projekt Red also announced that The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will be getting a Xbox Series X patch. Now, Jamie, again, I got to ask if you're excited about that. I think you beat Witcher 3, right?
This is the weird topic when it comes to The Witcher 3. So I'm going to use Skyrim as a reference.
Okay.
When Skyrim came out, I put 170 hours into it. And I got burnt out, and I had next to maybe like 5 main quests to do. And I got so burnt out on it that I didn't touch the game for a year. And then I went back to it, and then I was like, you know what? I can't remember what the hell happened. So I started the game again.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and bear in mind, I've done this with other games. I did this with The Witcher 2. Fun fact, The Witcher
Dude,
2 came out.
I've done this with Deus Ex quite a few times, by the way.
Yeah. So, oh no, this one's bad. So The Witcher 2 comes out in November. Oh no, it was March 2012. I get to the third act, and then I had my brother's wedding, where I got so drunk that I had the worst hangover of my entire life. And then I decided to put it off for a few weeks. I came back to it, and I was like, I can't really remember the controls that well. So I started again. So I get to Act 3. Similar thing happens. It's always a hangover with me. And I put off the game for about 4 months. I then got to that game again. I thought, you know what? I'm going to start it again. So I did this another time. The Witcher 3 is about to launch. And I was like, right, I'm finally going to go through The Witcher 2. I get to Act 3. And it turns out that Act 3, you can finish in 10 minutes.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So all I had to do was literally start Act 3, walk to one point, start a conversation, have one fight, credits.
Oh man.
Now, now, salt is a word, and I've never been so salty in my entire life over gaming. I could have finished it ages and years beforehand. So when it comes to The Witcher 3, I got burnt out after about 190 hours, and it turns out I'm on the last quest line.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but like the thing is, I've put so much time into that where I can literally say it's the best game ever made, like without a doubt. But you know, if I get burnt out on a game, I'll never touch it again. So I sometimes stop playing games for months and years.
Dude, it
But
sounds like you have some of the worst hangovers. Like I would not want to feel what you feel because every time you have one of your historic hangovers, you're like, I'm not going to touch this for a couple months. Dude, that
yeah,
sounds bad, bro.
oh no, I know we off topic, but you want to hear about a bad hangover that's about gaming? So Mass Effect 2 comes out, and I played one again for probably the seventh time. And then I was like, right, I timed my playthrough of Mass Effect 1 so I would finish Mass Effect 1 again the day before Mass Effect 2 launches. A friend of mine says, do you want to come over mine, have some drinks? Turns out him and his girlfriend got all these new fancy sambucas and stuff. Well, I'll put it like this. He was driving me home the next day going over these bumps, and like I nearly threw up my lunch. And,
Oh,
and nothing came up, but again, I was so hungover. I was lying on the couch shivering with a bucket on the ground next to me, and I was like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it.
did you swear to
And
yourself you weren't going to drink anymore?
yeah, until the next weekend.
Yeah.
But again, I'm shivering on the couch with the cold sweats, thinking, what am I going to do? And I had Mass Effect 2 right in front of me. And I was like, I can't play games if I'm motion sick or if I'm feeling nauseous. So I'm looking at Mass Effect 2, contemplating, what should I do? And then I had my brother texting me saying, oh my God, Mass Effect 2 is amazing. It's one of the best games I've ever played. And I'm shaking, holding this copy of Mass Effect 2, thinking, I could play it. So I tried, and like I nearly fainted. Like I couldn't do it. So I put it off
Oh,
to the next day. So I got to Mass Effect a day late.
oh my goodness. Check this out, guys. You are getting historic accounts from Jamie Moran, aka the elusive gamer, right now, dude, you painted a picture for me that I will not forget about that. That oh man, I feel for you. But all right, so first off, when it comes to Witcher 3, I mean, nobody expected a patch. I don't think anybody expected a patch when it comes to this. So let me know what you think. Like what you think is going to go into this? Do you think it's going to be all graphical? Do you think there's any other bells and whistles that you think might be coming to this patch? But I got a bigger question for you after that. So like after you answer that, I gotta ask you because I have always been in the camp that of course they are polishing Cyberpunk 2077. They're making sure this game is ready, but there's always been a part of me that thought when they delayed this game that they actually delayed this game so this way they can come out with the Xbox One version and the Series X patch at the same time. So this way, you know, people who have an Xbox One who aren't going to upgrade will still be able to play the game. But then again, people who are upgrading to the Series X, they're going to have Cyberpunk ready at launch with all the bells and whistles, you know, whatever ray tracing, all that good stuff kind of already involved, already ready to be played, you know, and they're going to release it all at the same time. I have been in this camp. I want to know if you've been in that camp as well, and if you think that Witcher 3 is getting the patch and that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be ready for the Series X when it launches.
When it comes to the whole Cyberpunk stuff, I'll go over first because there isn't really much news on that. Cyberpunk, you know, being put off for so long in the way it's been talked up, like I wouldn't be surprised if the Series X patches their day one, despite the fact they haven't said so. Like they've said like it's coming later, but it's like it seems like this is such a big game for them that they would maybe do that. And especially at the latest Nvidia event, like they showed the game off with like ray tracing running on a 3070 or whatever the hell you call them cards. Like, so there was a version ready for them cards. So I'm thinking, like, could they maybe have done like the Xbox Series X stuff? And like, considering it is CD Projekt Red, that wouldn't surprise me if they're doing that.
Yeah, yeah, and again, I've been in that camp. Yo, shout out to Flamish. He said nope. Cyberpunk patch is going to be 2021. He said that's what they said. Now, brother, I hear you, but I think when they said that, and I think that was before. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was before the delay. I feel like there's something going on, at CD Projekt Red. I'm definitely not leaving it out that, that upgrade will be ready at the launch of the Series X, and kind of like moving forward from there. If it can be ready, I think that would make the most sense. Because then, your game is available for people who are on, this gen system. If people are gonna go and upgrade day one, they have a game there that, is highly anticipated and ready to go on the Series X. To me, it makes sense that they would do that, and I don't put it past them, because I think that was best for them with releasing the game. You got to remember, these companies, these studios, they could come off as pro-consumer everywhere, but they still want to make the most money as possible. And I really feel like this makes more sense to them, and I wouldn't be surprised. So Flamish, don't be surprised if that patch is ready. And not only that, but when say you're going into the store to get your Series X, right next to your Series X is a copy of Cyberpunk 2077, with that, enhanced for Series X kind of like logo and everything going on the cover of that game. I just feel like it's going to happen. But Jamie, when it comes to Witcher 3, because that is a this gen game, all right? At its foundation, it was built for, this gen consoles, all that good stuff. So if you had to guesstimate what type of like graphical updates and stuff like that we might get in the Witcher 3 Series X patch, what do you think would be some of the highlights for this patch, man?
Ray tracing, 4K textures, better lighting, and well, obviously better lighting comes with the ray tracing. But
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
I can just imagine Witcher 3, because sunsets, sunrises look absolutely amazing already, but put that ray tracing in there, man.
yeah, and I think they'll use some sort of custom version for console, like PhysX, which is how liquid interacts with each other, and other objects, and hair physics and stuff. A ton of small things that can like greatly improve the image. And talking about Cyberpunk ray tracing, which they have confirmed, to get that on PC right now, there isn't an official patch. Like, it's a fan made one. And if you go out on YouTube right now, you can see it like ray traced. And this is like a software thing. Like, it's not like proper ray tracing, but it's like it's gorgeous. Like, The Witcher 3 is filled with like high saturated oranges and stuff, and it's like that game is kind of perfect for that. So it's like the work they're gonna do, and this is Saber Interactive doing the patch. Like, they're gonna put in the work. Saber Interactive have done some great ports in the past, and like again, no one expected this. I didn't expect this. Like, I was completely content with my Xbox One X patch running at 4K. I never thought for 1 second, oh yeah, we're gonna get a next gen update, and the fact that it's coming, it just shows, and it's free. By the way, 505 games, it's free. This 5-year-old game is getting extra work put in by another developer, which is costing CD Projekt Red probably a lot of money, and we're getting that for free. And it's like that says it all. Like, CD Projekt Red, I'm going to talk them up all day. Like, I love anime eyes for them. Like, it's like CD Projekt
Wow.
Red are like legit, like the best in the industry, and like time and time again, they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, next gen prices aren't going up either." It's like they're saying like all the right moves. Like if they were taking out someone on a date, they'd be laid twice by now.
Wow, yo, brother, that is the quote of the night. If they were taking somebody out on a date, they would be laid twice by now. Yo, shout out to the David VGS in the chat. First thing he said about the update, load times, bro. That that means something right there to a lot of gamers to cut down any load times or anything like that in the game, dude. It might cut a third of like your completion time, man. It might cut a third of that off, dude. When it comes to you, Jamie, kind of getting in predicaments on your last stretch of a game right there. When it comes to Witcher 3, you might be able to beat it before you go to your buddy's house for drinks, man.
Well, that's debatable. But like I put it like this, like they're doing this for free, but like when I finish the expansion soon, and I plan on finishing the expansion soon, like I plan on buying the Game of the Year edition so I can get the extra achievements, and I'll play that on next generation. Because they deserve my money. They've earned it, and it's just things like that. Like that. This is the thing I was talking about last week. Like we have a developer like CD Projekt Red doing all these pro consumer moves that makes me want to give them money, not because I have to, because I want to. And if more publishers did crap like this, like they probably make more money. Like, and I know I've seen tons of people online saying they're not buying whatever game, be it by Activision or 505 Games, because of this, just non-clear anti-consumer activity. And it's like we have CD Projekt Red going, "Oh, by the way, gamers, this is how it's done, and you're gonna like it because you're gonna love it, and it's just all gravy from here." And it's like more publishers just need to look at CD Projekt Red and just copy them,
No, dude, I hear you on that. Anytime developers, anytime companies like really do things that are pro consumer, you kind of it catches my attention, and you start looking at them better, and it's really cool to see kind of like the evolution of CD Projekt Red when it's all said and done, because Witcher 1 wasn't, the first Witcher wasn't necessarily for everybody. Witcher 2, I feel like, the menu system was really a lot more complicated than it needed to be. But you saw their evolution from the original Witcher through Witcher 3 and how much better they got at developing those games. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are hyped for Cyberpunk, because it almost looks like their next evolutionary step. And of course, for people who don't get into kind of like your more kind of like medieval setting, medieval fantasy, sword wielding monster, Cyberpunk definitely caters to a different crowd, that with that kind of like that punkish futuristic environment, modding your body and all that good stuff. So I just think it's really interesting to see the evolution of CD Projekt Red over time, and they have definitely kind of like they have definitely got up there and claimed one of the top spots when it comes to a development studio, and doing pro consumer stuff like they have been doing. It's just icing on the cake. It makes them from a talented studio to a beloved studio. You know what I'm saying, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you just look at their Twitter, like, whenever someone just posts a tweet saying something like, "Oh, what's your favorite game?" the official Cyberpunk Twitter literally replies to them saying, "Oh, FIFA," because they joke all the time about EA being a scummy company. It's like EA know that FIFA is literally a bank at this point. And
Well, dude, look what they
CD,
did with Madden too, man. Oh my goodness, bro.
yeah. I mean, I know this is kind of off topic, but there's too many people play FIFA for them to mess up how they did with Madden. So it's like FIFA sells almost more than COD worldwide, but
Oh, yeah.
Madden sells a lot in the US, and it's like
Yeah.
like me seeing the stuff they've done with Madden is just ridiculous. That crap would not fly in FIFA, and they know it. And the bug fixes coming to Madden. That it's clear that that game just is literally just like an update of last year's version. But it's like CD Projekt Red wouldn't do that. Like they have the multiplayer stuff coming in the future. They have a fourth Witcher game in development, which isn't going to be called Witcher 4. And they're still supporting Gwent on mobile. And it's like they know they can make money by doing good practices. It's one of the reasons why Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sold. Like that game has no microtransactions, no multiplayer, and it sold like 10 million. And the investors were wondering to each other, like, "Hey, why is this game making money?" It's because we're getting sick of being hung upside down and having all our coins dripped out of our pockets. It's like, no, make a good product, sell it, it'll sell, and that's it. And it's like people don't want to be gouged every 5 seconds for money. It's like, and like the latest UFC game has literal adverts while you're playing it. It's like this is one of the reasons why, again, people prop up CD Projekt Red and they put CD Projekt Red on this pedestal because they've literally earned it. You look at the first Witcher game from 2006 or whatever it was, and that game, terrible, by the way. You have The Witcher 2, they grew this game to this like gorgeous RPG. And then there's Witcher 3, they went from a linear RPG to their first open world and literally made the best open world game ever made. And then they move in that to the cyberpunk genre with sci-fi, with FPS combat. And it's like, it looks like they're nailing that too. And with all that, they're like, oh, by the way, free next generation upgrades. We're not going to charge you more for next gen because why would we? And they've literally said before, well, you don't get charged for ultra settings on PC.
Beautiful.
It's literally, that's why they are the GOATs.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Yo, shout out to CD Projekt Red. I cannot wait to see more. I can't wait to see what this patch will enable when it comes to The Witcher 3. They might get me to go back to Witcher 3 just to try it out, man. Especially, I mean, they're already top notch when they build environments graphically. I can just imagine what they're going to do with the power of the Series X, with the power of next gen. It is going to be very, very interesting. But Jamie, on that note, and this is something you put in the DM, and it's about a little franchise, a little game called Perfect Dark, right? It seems that whenever people talk about the initiative, there's one main thing that is said, whether it's insiders, whether it's gamers out there on social media, gamers in Xbox Live parties, but the name Perfect Dark always comes up from a full. They're making a full reboot of Perfect Dark, or they're making a darker, grittier Perfect Dark, or the initiative is making a game that's in the Perfect Dark universe, but not necessarily Perfect Dark. Now, I love what you said in the DM, because you're like, when it comes to Perfect Dark rumors, like they basically they're incredibly persistent. They're not going away. So I'm going to ask you, Jamie, whether or not you think the initiative is indeed making a Perfect Dark game. But then with that, once you answer that, I got to ask you, like, would you be excited for a Perfect Dark game? Because I know when they came out with Perfect Dark Zero 360 era, people talked about it before it came out. It wasn't necessarily the bee's knees. It wasn't necessarily a game that completely flew off shelves, all that good stuff. I know nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and I know Perfect Dark is a name that a lot of gamers, a lot of I would say old school gamers, seasoned gamers, might I say, definitely they know about that name. But is it something that you would like for them to do, as their first game coming out of that studio?
I mean, it would have to be drastically different. I'll put it like this: think about it. Whenever Perfect Dark gets mentioned as a rumor, it makes waves. It literally is newsworthy. And you have to think about it, really. This 15-year-old franchise, I should say this franchise we haven't seen in 15 years, gets hype every single time there's a rumor.
That is
So it's
true.
like people must be able to see the potential of what it could be. And the thing is, in a world without something like Splinter Cell, people just look at the fact that she's a spy and think, make it third person and, have at it. Because that's what everyone wants. I've always said that Perfect Dark is either going to go one of two ways. It's going to be an immersive sim like Deus Ex, or it's going to be like Splinter Cell. And it's probably going to be like Splinter Cell because that would make more money. But it's like I've been wanting the initiative to make a new IP, but if they can do something cool with Perfect Dark, and bear in mind, I'm a sci-fi nerd. I will buy a Cyberpunk, Perfect Dark game by the initiative. All day, I'll buy it. They got my money, and I haven't seen it yet. That's how much I would want this. But again, like even Jeff Grubb on Twitter, who's like a very, knowledgeable person in the industry, like has mentioned, like it's not Perfect Dark, but it's something with Perfect Dark or something in the vein of that. And it's like there's clearly something happening because every other week we get a Perfect Dark rumor. Where does it come from? Nobody knows.
Just appears out of nowhere. It's like a random generator on Twitter or something, man. But I'm a sci-fi guy as well, and I think part of the thing. First off, I don't think Perfect Dark Zero aged well when it comes down to it. I have a Rare Replay, and I went in and I tried to play it for a little while. It just didn't catch me, but I do like sci-fi, and if you can do stealth mechanic with crazy sci-fi elements in terms of gadgets and stuff like that, which is what I think, Jamie, you're kind of you're hinting at when it comes to these rumors that is possibly what the game is. I can dig that. Not only that, but having kind of like that futuristic environment is also a great way to show off graphics. Everything like there's like a dark but like shiny and smooth, LED light type environment, holograms, stuff like that. That environment right there is a great way to show off graphics for new hardware as well. So, I'm not totally kind of like set against it. I do want to shout out Indie Gamer though, because Indie Gamer is like, I want the initiative to come out with a brand new, fresh IP, and I'm kind of in that realm as well. But I do want to see what they have in store. I want to see what they are working on. When it comes to the initiative, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, they kind of hyped up this studio. Maybe it was Aaron Greenberg. It was somebody from Xbox who said kind of like a quadruple A studio. And all we've heard in terms of A's in the gaming industry was triple A. So to hear quadruple A, it's like they're making something there that we've never even seen before. Like we never fathomed could exist within a video game. The production value and everything like that was so high they had to add an extra A to it. And I mean, I'm just excited. I want to see, even if it's like early kind of like development and stuff like that. And I don't know how you feel about this, Jamie, but I want to see what the initiative is up to. I think we've been waiting around long enough. I want to see something from them, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look, people want to see what games are coming, and like think about it, the initiative were put together like mid 2018, and like you have to think about how long is this quadruple A game going to take? If I think quadruple A game, I think GTA 5, I think Red Dead Redemption 2, and I even think Cyberpunk. So it's like, with the Perfect Dark rumors coming up, like quadruple A game, like a Perfect Dark game on that level. And you look at the talent there, and it's like, well, you have a lot of people from Crystal Dynamics, people that worked on Red Dead Redemption and all that. And it's like, they've clearly got some idea. And, all the developers they have over there right now have made third-person action adventure games.
Yes.
So it's like
some of the most highly touted third-person action adventure games as well.
Yeah, and like let's talk about Perfect Dark for real, right? And I've had this idea for years, and I think people would buy it the second. Like, imagine a third-person Perfect Dark game. It's all cyberpunk. There's all holograms all over the place. Literally lines of hover cars in the air, like how you do in sci-fi. Now, how cool would it be to chase someone like on rooftops and then to go chasing someone like on hover cars?
Yeah,
Like,
like jumping off, like from car to car, trying to chase them down, or in fact, like jumping onto a car and eventually being able to get into one
yeah,
and go into like the driving style of a game and to get into kind of like a hover car chase, dude. Yeah, that sounds amazing.
like whenever I hear Perfect Dark and then I think the Initiative and then Quadruple A, I just keep piecing that together in my head. Mainly because I grew up watching Blade Runner and stuff,
Yeah.
and I want that right. I want that right now. But it's like we could possibly see that next generation because we haven't seen anything like that. But it's like Quadruple A, Red Dead Redemption, GTA, Cyberpunk, Perfect Dark. Like they would have to do something special, and I think they can.
Mhm.
But the fact that there's a rumor pops up every other week, or some developers been making like some Perfect Dark artwork. It's like, congratulations, you've played us. It's like we. It's like we wanting to know what they're making, and every time we get concept art for something that looks delicious, and we want to play it right then and there, and we can't. It's like we just need to know. Like I would take a GIF at this point. I want to know what they're making. Like I like logos are fine apparently for some people. So why can't we get a logo?
Yeah, just tease something. Yeah, have something, dark screen, and just bring up a name. Like, if it's, perfect dark with a subtitle underneath it, like, Land of the Shadows or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something, but yeah, definitely let people know what is going on there. I feel like so much focus has been on the initiative because they are a brand new, from the ground up built, first party studio for Xbox, and then you look at the talent that they have brought in, at that studio. It's like, well, I want to see exactly what they're doing. Give me a rough idea. Give me a plan here. Like, let me know what you're thinking for the title that you're creating. Get me hyped for this title because we don't know exactly what's going on with that studio, and it's the only one from the studios that it's being built from the ground up as a first party studio. So I think that has a lot of Xbox gamers interest, and I think we definitely need to hear more, see more. Give us something about what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we know they got all these studios now, and we want to know what they're making. And for the most part, we know what pretty much all of them are making, except from the Initiative, and the people that made We Happy Few. Like, we don't really know much.
Dude,
And
Mojo in the chat. My bad, but Mojo is like Perfect Dark with Craig would be cool. Can you imagine a Craig reference in like every single like first party Xbox?
that
I think that would be cool.
that wouldn't surprise me if we see Craig pop up in a few games. Like, I was expecting Craig to pop up as like as a patch in Battletoads. Like, he could be the ultimate boss, but it's like, I think Microsoft, they have a good like future with all these studios and games and stuff. It's just
Mhm.
that we don't. The thing is, people don't want to wait years in between game announcements, and the reality is that we have to, because that's how development works. But gamers want news every 5 seconds, and I'm one of them. And we will find out, and the Perfect Dark stuff will probably not go away anytime soon.
No, no. And brother, on that note, I think we got one more topic here, and this is a pretty big one. This is a pretty big one. And Xbox has come out and said that they're going to be at Tokyo Game Show this year. Which, first off, you got to give huge shout out to Xbox because we were talking off air. We seem to do that a lot before the show, brother. But we were talking off air, and Xbox has not been at the Tokyo Game Show in a long time. How many years did we guesstimate? Did
It's like 5 or 6.
5 or 6 years. So they have not been at this show for about 5 or 6 years. Now they're going to have an actual event at the Tokyo Game Show, which is stated to run about 50 minutes, so about 10 minutes less than a full hour. And within that, Xbox also announced that they're not talking about, and I quote, any new news for next gen consoles. So no new news for next gen consoles. And that right there, because I know when it comes to PR, when it comes to the marketing department, they choose words very carefully when they announce things. And they said no new news for next gen console. So I'm not expecting any news about the Series X or the Series S there, but I still think that leaves open news about games though, because games are technically not consoles. So Jamie, I got to ask you, 5 or 6 years hiatus, right? They haven't been there for years. Now they're coming in, they're going to have an event. They're having an event before they launch the next gen console, the Series X. But then they come out and say no new news about next gen consoles. I gotta ask you, Jamie. I know Japan is big when it comes to mobile gaming and stuff like that. But what do you think that Xbox has to show for the Tokyo Game Show? They got an event that's gonna last just under an hour. What do you think they're gonna talk about, bro?
Game Pass.
Just game
Game.
for almost an hour. Just Game Pass.
I mean, it's hard to say, but like, let's look at it like this: like the first few Yakuza games in Game Pass, the new Yakuza game, Yakuza Like a Dragon, is going to be the only next generation console to have the enhancement at launch. So it's like maybe there's some deal in place with that. We have Dragon Quest coming to Game Pass and Xbox in December. And the thing is, Game Pass just took off, and well, it's only been available in Japan for a few months now. So it's like, and xCloud. So it's like, it makes sense if they have like a bunch of deals with, because think about it, most of the games on Game Pass aren't Japanese. But if they have a bunch of Japanese games coming to Game Pass, that's Game Pass getting bigger in Japan, and that's the rest of us getting Japanese games on Xbox. So it's like, it's almost like a win-win. Plus, like, again, like, there's still Japanese games probably going to be announced. Elden Ring, we still don't know. They have some partnership with Xbox. You know, we have Tales of Arise, which was debuted on the Xbox stage, and we haven't seen a peep since. So it's like, there's clearly going to be some like game deal related stuff there.
Which is what we like to hear about. Let's be real now. Like, when it comes to games, game announcements, deeper looks into games that are upcoming. So, I gotta, Jamie, I gotta kind of pull back on what I said when you were like Game Pass, and I'm like, for 50 minutes, but Game Pass does make sense because that's games, and I like to hear about games. So, you think it's going to revolve around Game Pass, which I'm going to kind of agree with you on. But like new announcements, deeper looks into games that were just kind of previously announced and then kind of, put to the side or not really talked about again. Do you think that there's going to be some of that in there to get people excited?
Yeah, I mean, we need to see more of already announced stuff, because think about it, like Elden Ring and Tales of Arise, just two examples. Like, we've seen nothing on them since they were announced. So it's like, any news for them would literally be big new news, And the thing is, like, they will probably mention, even though there's no next gen news, I can't see why they wouldn't mention, oh, by the way, this game we're showing right now is also going to be, optimized for Xbox Series X. Because again, they're not mentioning or showing off the console there. They're just saying the game will be there, And the as much as the console won't sell over there in Japan, they still have to announce stuff for it, And again, there's an audience for Japanese games everywhere else in the world, and again, they need to show their support for Japanese devs. So it's more of like an incentive thing at the end of the day. And all in all, it's probably just going to lead into us getting more Japanese games on Xbox. And again, like the first time ever Dragon Quest is coming to console is going to be on Game Pass. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that is crazy, man. And you look at, you know, oh man, I just brain farted on the game, but you just mentioned it in terms of the Series X launch. Dude, Yakuza. There we go. Thank you. I don't know why I just brain farted on that, but to have that ready, at the launch of the Series X, that is absolutely huge for people who do, get into Japanese games and such. It shows that there's a renewed kind of like vigor at Xbox to really bring in Japanese developers and get them working with the system and all that good stuff, which is all it's really good. Now, I've had people kind of tweet at me when I asked this question before, because we also did cover it on Next Podcast as well. Shout out to my Next Podcast panel out there. I want to hear kind of like different opinions on this, and I got tweeted Sega logos and stuff, because we all know that Microsoft and Sega have been really friendly lately, and there always seems to be kind of like a build up to some type of Sega Xbox announcement. Do you think that there might be any presence with Sega when it comes to Xbox's show for the Tokyo Game Show?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we do hear, because again, Sega is being a lot more friendly with Xbox these days. We have Atlas saying, "Hey, we could actually make more money putting these games on other platforms," and we don't have Persona on Xbox yet, so that would be a big deal as well. And I just think I see it mainly as us seeing basically more games coming over, and that's a win for everyone, really.
Yeah. Like I don't if they say no console news, you know what I'm saying? I have no problem with that. But when it comes to games, I definitely want news about games. Games going into Game Pass, but new games as well. And that's what really excites me in terms of kind of like a show, a live stream, a conference when it comes to Xbox, and of course other developers, other companies out there or whatnot. Only thing I'm not necessarily, I'm like, ah, man. I believe the show is gonna be in all Japanese. So like watching it live, maybe with closed captions and stuff like that. I would, unfortunately, I don't know Japanese, so I can't watch it the way I would kind of like your Gamescom or your E3 or stuff like that. But I am looking forward to seeing exactly what they might share at Tokyo Game Show. Man, Jamie, are you excited that they are back and doing an event? Because shout out to Mojo. Mojo said that Xbox has been on the floor for TGS, but they haven't done a show in a really long time. So are you excited that Xbox feels like they have something to show at Tokyo Game Show, and are you interested to see what they have?
Oh yeah, I mean, I put it like this: like for months, like I was saying, I want Dragon Quest to come to Xbox, and then it was announced at the last Xbox show that it's coming to Xbox and Game Pass. So it's like I'm clearly excited for more Japanese stuff, and like I want more games to come over. And I don't understand Japanese. Big shock to everyone, I know. But it's like I'll probably just watch the trailers later on. I'm not going to watch a 50-minute show that's all in Japanese. Like,
it's a lot of reading with the closed caption, man. A lot of reading.
That's a lot of reading, and I'd rather just watch the trailers later on. So it's like,
well, yeah, that's the thing, because if you're reading the captions, right, to get the information while the trailer is playing, you're gonna miss a part of the trailer. You're gonna miss sections of the trailer because you're trying to read and get the information as well.
Yeah. Also, another big deal that's not really related to that, but it might be. So, Yakuza has been Japanese since the very second game back in the early 2000s or whatever. But it's like they've been Japanese since, and then I've been saying for the past year that if Yakuza came to Xbox, that's more money which could go towards English dub. So when they announced Yakuza Like a Dragon for the West on the Xbox show, it was in English. Bit of a convenient,
Yeah.
thing going on. Like again, more money going towards these games. There's a new built-up audience of Yakuza fans on Xbox now, and we just so happen to get the very first English Yakuza game in like almost 2 decades.
He said,
Congratulations,
yo,
Sega is finally learning.
yo, Sleepy said, just read faster, sir. I got you, bro. I got you. At the end of the day, what do they call it? These are trivial in terms of actually getting a new show. I'm excited for it, man. I want to see something new, something interesting. They don't have to talk about the Series X or the Series S, but when it comes to games, I think we all want to see kind of like the plan laid out. We want to see games coming and stuff. A variety of games that Xbox has talked about, and so far, I think they have been showing that with games that have come out recently when it comes to Game Pass and moving forward. Games like Scorn, I'm excited about. Games like Medium, I'm excited about. I would have loved to have Halo Infinite drop at launch, and it's really unfortunate that it did get a delay, but I'd rather them go back and fix what they feel they need to fix, and I'd rather experience, what they want to put out there as the finished product when it comes to that. I think there are games coming down. I think that multi-plat games are going to look incredible on the next gen Xbox, and I'm really excited. And I feel like the closer and closer we are getting to November, like the more excitement I am feeling. Kind of like I'm starting to feel that build up, and I really hope that Xbox in their marketing strategy and all that good stuff really want to cater to that build up and really help kind of bring it all the way up to the top. You know what I'm saying, Jamie? Like are you feeling that build up yet?
Oh
Um,
yeah, I
and
mean,
don't you want like Xbox to kind of like cater to that build up and just show you more and more and more kind of like leading up to the launch?
oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe we will see more stuff this month, but like, we need to see more. Everyone knows this, but like, if you think about it, and this occurred to me recently. Like, look at 7 years ago where we were as like an Xbox fan base. Like, everything people were looking forward to was bashed. The messaging wasn't clear. Microsoft clearly didn't know what they were doing. Half the people at Microsoft didn't know what they were announcing. And it's like, even though they had a very strong game lineup, the weaker console with the more expensive price with the 12-hour check-in, or it might have been 24-hour check-in, nobody knows, apparently. And it's like, it was all over the place. You weren't allowed to be an Xbox fan on the internet. That's what it was like. Despite all the game announcements and all the gameplay, if you were an Xbox fan on the internet, it wasn't allowed. And the thing is, now it's a totally different time. People are enjoying the build up to next generation. Yeah, we haven't seen the price. We don't know all the details, but really think about it. We are able to enjoy it this time around. And that's the big difference for me. That's why I'm so excited when I talk about gaming on Twitter and why I'm such a positive guy. Because think about this time around, 7 years later, we get to enjoy a console generation launch without the BS, without the false narratives, without the confusion of messaging. We know the messaging. We just need to see more gameplay at the end of the day. We know what we're getting. And again, we get to buy these new consoles and enjoy them. Unlike at the beginning of this generation, where we had new articles every 5 minutes about resolution gate over every game. Like, it's a different time. And for me, that's exciting. We're 2 months away. And the way these games are going to look, like, for the first time ever, we have consoles capable of ray tracing. Like, that's impressive, And again, completely different time from 7 years ago. Microsoft is confident in the product. We just need to see the games. And as opposed to 7 years ago, we saw the games and it was a mess. You couldn't say online. If you said online that you liked Xbox or wanted one, you'd be slated. People hated the fact that you'd said that. I remember being on Twitter in 2013 and I just posted saying, I want an Xbox. And I got so much hate for it just for saying I wanted this plastic box. But 7 years later, it's the opposite. People are enjoying gaming more. People are able to enjoy these new consoles. And it's like, yeah, it's annoying we don't have a price in games. But at the end of the day, we're going to get that. And people will literally get to enjoy their consoles this time around.
Yeah, definitely. And because of everything that happened this generation, is one of the reasons that we came together to also make this show, because we're gonna move forward. We're not even we're not gonna dwell in the past and what happened. We're gonna keep going forward. New news, new games come out. This is what we are gonna talk about. It is a new day in the gaming community and the gaming industry. Jamie, I absolutely love what we're doing here. I think it's been a long time coming. I am truly enjoying doing this show with you every week, and we are new. We are new out here. So guys, everybody in the chat, let the Xbox gamers know that there is a show out here that just talks Xbox. No console war, no other platform, either in the chat or on the show. Everything Xbox related is what we are talking about. And me and Jamie are hard at work in our DM. We have loads of topics, moving into the launch of the Series X. A lot of stuff to talk about. And of course, there's always new topics that happen weekly as well. But Jamie, I think this pretty much wraps it up, man. I think we got episode 3 in the books, and dude, I gotta say again, I'm absolutely loving doing this show with you, man. It is a pleasure to work with somebody as positive about gaming as you are. And of course, shout out to my next podcast fan, because I'm not taking away anything from them as well, man. But Jamie, it has been a long time coming. Again, I thank you so much for agreeing and being absolutely patient with me, because it took a really, really long time to get this done. But we are out here, brother. Um, when it comes down to it, Jamie, you are on YouTube. You have a YouTube channel, and it's something I think a lot of people out there need to check out. They need to check out that positivity, that kind of like, no nonsense. Just you express your opinions. You don't dip into the console wars, stuff like that. So, it's about that time, man. We're getting into our outros now. So, Jamie, let people know about your YouTube channel, what it's all about. There is a link in the description below for anybody who hasn't checked it out. I highly suggest doing that. But not only that, you got to share your social media information so people can go and talk games with you over there as well. Again, another episode down, many more to come. Jamie, thank you so much for doing this with me, man.
Man, I've been looking forward to doing this podcast for a while, and you know, there's a ton of podcasts out there which I really love. More than a dozen, and I like the fact that we agreed to just stick to just Xbox, and from the comments here, everyone seems to be enjoying it, and I think it's what gaming needs. Like, why can't we just stick to what we're talking about if that's the plan to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
It's been good doing this, man, and third episode in, the reception pretty positive, and not many trolls just yet.
Yeah.
That could change any day now.
Yeah, dude, that's like our biggest fear. Every time we go, we're like, is this the day that we're gonna have to like remove and then mute people, and like, because there was some signs on Twitter. There were some people sharing out this show that I thought might bring in a bunch of people to try to possibly talk shit in the chat, and thank God, chat has been absolutely amazing. You guys have been so supportive. Thank you guys so much. But we haven't had that roll in of trolls to try to kind of like ruin what we are growing here. So I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I try and keep my YouTube channels the same way. So that's the Elusive Gamer, where it's literally just Xbox stuff, and I don't do fanboy and console war stuff. This week I have probably 2 Xbox related videos coming out, and my Twitter is Jamie Moran UK, where I post gaming stuff and jokes, and yeah, I'm always up for talking to people about stuff. Just try and keep it civil.
Yeah. Keep it civil. Couple jokes here and there. He's a regular guy over here, man. Just treat him like your favorite next door neighbor. That's all you got to do. But yeah, again, shout out to the chat. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Again, let all those Xbox gamers out there know that we are live every Sunday, 6 p.m., talking about nothing but the Xbox platform, the good, the bad, things that we are anticipating, and of course, any Xbox news that comes out over the week, we will definitely cover that here. You guys have been absolutely incredible. If you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. Of course, this channel is the home of the Series X podcast, but this is also the home of the next podcast. It is one of the longest running gaming podcasts in the community that we are in. I am incredibly proud of both shows. I think both shows bring something unique to this channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. But it is time to end the show. And people, Jamie, people like it when I end the show this way. Guys, keep it gaming and keep it Xbox. We will see you next weekend.